גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to congregants, to friends, to guests, to everyone joining us online and everyone joining us here in the sanctuary as we gather to welcome Shabbat. A welcome to John Broder, our congregational president, who joins us on the Bima in partnership. A welcome to Rebecca Robinson, who many of you know, who is often here subbing for Cantor Hyman, who is away for his 2 weeks at URJ Camp Harlem, our Reform Movement camp in the Poconos, where he is leading worship and working with many of our students who are there. And a welcome to one of our Rabbi Emeriti, Bill Kuhn, and Emily. So wonderful to have you with us tonight. For any of the young people, as we welcome all ages, I'm looking at you, Nora and Fiona, feel free to use the aisles to move around and dance. And if at any point in the service you need a little bit of a bigger break and that back aisle's not enough for you, you can always head out across the hall to the Rosenbluth seminar room if you need a little chill. Not at all. Let's ensure that we are praying together as one community tonight. Please find someone new to greet and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Love all the greeting. We're going to continue now in our Shabbat blessings, beginning first with candle lighting, which can be found on page 2. And we are honored to welcome up the Yeoman Niemark family. We have Kate and Jeff and Ezra and Levi and one more, not Reuben, who is just a friend, but his family are new members, and we're so overjoyed to have them all with us tonight as they lead us in our Shabbat blessings, page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat.
And the Kiddush can be found on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim Ki vanu vacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim V'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Chaim. All right. Thank you, guys. Shabbat Shalom. Has anyone heard Rabbi Joe Black's song, Valentine's Day is Not a Jewish Holiday? It's a great one. It's actually, it's dedicated to his wife, and he ends with saying, and that's why I didn't get you anything. But, and he's right, Valentine's Day isn't a Jewish holiday, Saint Valentine. However, we do have a Jewish holiday of love. It actually begins tomorrow evening, and it's known as Tu B'Av, the 15th of the month of Av. And traditionally, it says in the Mishnah that in ancient Israel, all the young women would go out dressed in their finest white garments. And actually, there's a beautiful line that it adds that they would share clothing with one another. And if there was a young woman in the community who didn't have something, the community would provide for her. And they would go out and dance and look for their beloveds. It's a beautiful model, actually, of a love holiday, sort of different from St. Valentine's Day, in that it talks much more, I think, about connection, joy, and community, the same things we really think about on Shabbat. And so as we enter this Shabbat right before Tu B'Av, our Jewish holiday of love, may we enter with open hearts, with joy and with the love that makes our community whole. We join together in our Kabbalat Shabbat singing, beginning first with Lechu Neranena, which I don't have a page, but it's really close to the beginning. Page 12.
Lechu neranena, l'Adonai nriya, letzor yishenu, letzor yishenu. 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 Nekadma fanav betoda, bizmirot nariya lo. Nekadma fanav betoda, bizmirot nariya lo. L'Adonai nriya, letzor yishenu, letzor yishenu. Lechu neranena, l'Adonai nriya, letzor yishenu, letzor yishenu.
Turning to Lecha Dodi on pages 20 and 21, we join together in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 with the same joy that those ancient Israelites had when they were dancing in the fields in their finest white on Tu B'Av.
Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומיורי, אורי, אורי, שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
If it is comfortable, please rise as we welcome Shabbat as a bride.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing as we turn to page 28 for our call to worship. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is at all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence of the divine. Continue with Baruch Hu. Page 31, read together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. And on the top of page 33, as you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto.
Please be seated, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. On page 39, the middle of the page, we read responsively, in a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. May earth reveal your justice. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by ages, time and again we overcame oppressive. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let's continue. When nation will be one and at peace, then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Page 40.
מי כמוך בעינים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך בעינים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף עליי, נורא תהילות אוסף עליי, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה לי ענו ואמרו, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך בעינים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך בעינים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף עליי, נורא תהילות אוסף עליי, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
More than the Jewish people has kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jewish people. Page 44.
ושמרו לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורית עולם, ברית עולם.
Turning to pages 46 and following, we continue with Tefillah. Please rise. תפתח ופי אגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol, Atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir
אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Turn in our prayer books to page 259, the bottom of the page, for the prayer for the state of Israel. As we turn our hearts to the east continually, and again this Shabbat, I want to lift up our Reform movement has issued a new statement regarding some of the intentions of the Netanyahu government in continuing the war. And I want to lift up some of their teachings this Shabbat. In our Reform movement statement, they pull on the verse from the very end of Deuteronomy, one of Moses' final words to his people, where he implores them, saying, God has set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life, that you and your offspring may live. In these days of war and grief, our statement urges a path that protects our hostages, safeguards our soldiers, spares innocent lives, and works towards an end to bloodshed. May Israel's leaders have the courage to choose life, to uphold the values of safety and justice, and to build together with allies and neighbors a future of hope for all people, Israelis and Palestinians who dwell in the land. We join together in the blessing at the bottom of the page. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. We take moments now for silent prayer.
עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה Shalom Aleinu, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Shalom bimroma, Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Turn back in our prayer books to page 253 for the Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. We are in a period of time after Tisha B'Av, which remembers the destruction of the temples in Jerusalem, this period of time of 7 weeks of consolation, where we read special haftarot, special passages from the prophets each Shabbat, meant to console our mourning. And we read the famous words of Isaiah, who says, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, comfort, comfort my people. It takes 7 weeks for us to deal with that trauma and to heal ourselves in some small way as we lead into the holidays, reminding us that healing takes time. It's consolation, and it's a process. It comes in layers. And oftentimes, as loved ones who are caring for those who are ill, we need to have patience to keep showing up, to keep persevering, even if we become careworn. We offer strength and comfort to those who are in pain, those who are carrying pain of others, knowing that it can take much longer than 7 weeks sometimes. If you are holding someone in your heart tonight in need of healing, mind, body, or spirit, online, I invite you to write those names in the chat, and here in the sanctuary to say those names aloud at this time.
Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We turn our thoughts to those simchas, those special occasions that are joyful and worthy of gratitude. And so as we prepare for the Shehachianu, our blessing of gratitude, let's reflect on this day, this Shabbat, this week. And if there is a simcha in your life you'd like to share, please do raise your hand and call it out. Does anyone have a simcha these days? What do you have, Bobby?
So I got a job.
Mazel tov. That is a simcha.
Recital monitoring at Temple University throughout the entire next school year, the school year after that.
Wonderful. Mazel tov, and thank you for sharing it. Is that Levi? Yeah. What was that? You got into Masterman. Mazel tov. Are the teachers coming to school this year? Or we're not sure. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll be with them too. I know. But we're so glad for you. That's great. Others? Any other simchas? All right. What else? Yes. Welcome to Philadelphia. We love when people move to Philadelphia. Terrific. All right. Yes. Your first week in a new job. Mazel tov. Wonderful. Good luck with the transition. We are thankful for all of those things and for just this opportunity to be present together on this Shabbat. And so turning to page 344, we continue with our Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. I would like to study a midrash with you, and if you would like to follow, it is on page 5 in your Shabbat program. And if you would prefer not to follow, it's okay to just listen. It doesn't have to be hard work. All right. This midrash is a contemporary midrash. So you may remember that our ancient sages wrote midrashim, wrote these commentaries, these stories that are in our formative texts of the Talmud and others of that time, known as the rabbinic time or rabbinic literature. And now we also have commentaries, midrash, stories that come out of contemporary thinkers as well. And so this is written by Rabbi Yael Vergan, who is an Israeli Reform rabbi of our time. And she wrote this in the past couple of years, since October 7th, and it is forthcoming to be published in a collection of women's midrash, a second volume of a collection called Jershuni. And so I'd like to share with you this midrash. Like many good specimens of midrash, there's contained within it a lot of text from our past. And so what I'd like to do is I'm going to read the midrash, and then I'm going to take us through it to give us the background so that when it throws some verses our way, we know and we can appreciate where it's coming from, and then we'll be able to perhaps put the pieces together. All right. Now, what's sweet here, of course, is this rabbi's name is Yael. Also, Yael is a character in the Tanakh, in the Hebrew Bible. I think she's talking about herself, though, in this case, although she then talks about lots of other people in the text, in the Torah, so who knows. Yael said, "All my days I grieved over this verse. And God said to her, 2 nations are in your belly, and 2 peoples will go their separate ways from your bowels, and one people another will overpower, and the elder will serve the younger." And I asked, how did Rebekah hear this harsh prophecy while Isaiah heard, no nation will take up a sword against another? And Abraham had already said to Lot, let there not be conflict between me and you, for we are brethren. And if you will say, all brothers hate one another, haven't we found that in every generation after they hated, they came together and reconciled with one another? Of the sons of Abraham it is said, and they buried him, Isaac and Ishmael, his sons. And of the sons of Isaac it is said, and Esau ran towards him and hugged him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And of the sons of Jacob it is said, and now be not sad or angry with yourselves over having sold me, because it was to preserve life that God sent me here before you. Until there came a generation that hated no more. And who are these? Moses and Aaron, of whom it is said, how good and pleasing it is when siblings dwell together. And I heard most of the people and the leaders saying, we will live by the sword forever. And I grieved and wept even more that they prefer that bad prophecy that Rebekah heard over the good one, until a poem came into my hands. Quote, and I shall keep faith in the future, though the day be yet far away, surely it will come when nations will share blessing and peace, by Shaul Chernikovsky. I rejoiced a great joy that Chernikovsky had come and turned the first prophecy upside down and made it like the second, better one. And I too chose to believe in it with all my heart and all my might. And I would go about in the city and call out, the two nations can live on this land in peace, share its blessings, and be a blessing to one another. That's the end of Rabbi Yael Vergan's Midrash. Did you hear a lot of text in there? All right, let's work through it. Let's work through it verse by verse. The first verse, if you're looking, the first verse, does anyone know who that is about, the Genesis 25? The two nations are in your belly. Who remembers the Torah character who she's talking about? You can call it out if you want to give it a try. We're thinking of, it's a matriarch. I'm hearing people try out a few matriarchs. Who had two in her belly? Jacob and Esau were the twins in the womb of their mother, Rebekah. Right? All right, so the first is Rebekah. The first prophecy is Rebekah's prophecy about these twins, and these twins are going to become, in this prophecy, two separate peoples. One will overpower the other, and so there's conflict that she's reporting on, right? There's conflict from the beginning in the story of Jacob and Esau, and the Hebrew, I'll tell you, the Hebrew is ul-om, mil-om. That's going to come back, and the elder will serve the younger. All right. And I asked, how did Rebekah hear this harsh prophecy while Isaiah heard, no nation will take up a sword against another? So the second verse is from Isaiah. Maybe you've heard this one. So this is later from the prophets. And this is Isaiah's teaching, no nation will take up sword against another. So the Midrash author is saying what? She's saying we have these two examples in our text. We have one text that says people will be in conflict, and the other text that teaches one shall not lift up sword against another. And then she adds, Abraham had already said to Lot, Lot was his nephew back in the book of Genesis. Abraham said, let there not be conflict between me and you, for you are brethren. You may remember the story when Abraham's family and Lot's family are settling the land in Canaan, and they've now acquired enough stuff that their herdsmen are sort of getting in each other's ways. Abraham decides, you go one way, I'll go another way. We won't have conflict, we'll each have enough space, and generously allows Lot to be the one to choose which portion of land he would like to settle on. Okay, and then if you'll say all brothers hate one another and then reconcile, first the example is Isaac and Ishmael. The brothers Isaac and Ishmael come back together at the conclusion of Abraham's life, and they bury Abraham together. Then the text that she brings up next is Esau running towards Jacob and hugging him. This is after Esau and Jacob have had conflict in their lives, and Esau is holding a grudge perhaps against Jacob for stealing the birthright, and they've gone their separate ways, and now they are reuniting, at least for a moment. So Rabbi Vergan is finding these examples when there was conflict between brothers, and then they're able to find their way back to each other, whether it's Isaac and Ishmael burying their father together, or Esau and Jacob reuniting, and Esau hugging and kissing his brother as they weep together. And then one last of the brothers who come back together, when it says, and the sons of Jacob, of the sons of Jacob it is said, and now be not sad or angry with yourselves over having sold me, because it was to preserve life that God sent me here before you. Who is speaking? Joseph. So you remember Joseph and his brothers. Joseph has a major conflict with his brothers, sibling rivalry like you've never seen in your own household. And Joseph is sold, I hope, Joseph is sold into slavery, and in Egypt goes through this whole process from enslavement to being a prisoner in jail to then eventually working his way up as a leader in Egypt and saving the Egyptians and others, including his brothers, from famine. And when they finally are revealed to each other and they reunite, somehow Joseph is able to say, this was just meant to be, and they reconcile and have this moment of peace. And then the text goes on to say, then there comes a generation that hated no more. And the brothers in the Torah who don't hate, we're finally out of the book of Genesis. It's been dramatic for these brothers, for these families in Genesis, but now we reach Moses and Aaron, and Moses and Aaron are brothers who are not described as in conflict with each other. And here, Rabbi Vergan gives this psalm, how good and pleasing it is when siblings dwell together, which we sang at the start of the service, Hine ma tov u'manayim. The Midrash in another place, the classical Midrash, says that Hine ma tov is talking not just about us at Rodef Shalom, who are so glad to be together that we start our service with that so often, but that verse from Psalms is describing Moses and Aaron, that they dwelled together peacefully. And then she says, and I heard most of the people, the leaders, saying, we will live by the sword forever. Why are they preferring Rebekah's prophecy of conflict over Isaiah's prophecy of peace? Until, she says, this poem came into her hand. Shaul Chernyakhovsky from Odessa, 1892, wrote this poem, I Believe, and here in this Midrash we see just one stanza from it. It's also known by its first line, laugh, laugh at all my dreams. Is that a familiar one to anyone? Laugh, laugh at all my dreams. It's this hopeful poem from Chernyakhovsky, and actually it was proposed as an alternative to be Israel's national anthem. It didn't become the national anthem, but it's a different tone. So laugh at all my dreams comes to bring a different message. And here's what Rabbi Vergan says: I rejoiced a great joy that Chernikovsky had come and turned the first prophecy upside down. So how is it that he turned the first upside down? He speaks of peace, so it's probably clear that he's choosing the Isaiah rather than choosing the Rebecca prophecy, right? He's choosing the one of peace rather than the one of brothers or nations in conflict. But here's where there's something special that we can't get from the English, that we can only get from the Hebrew. When Chernikovsky speaks of the nations, when he says, "And I shall keep faith in the future, though the day be yet far away, surely it will come when nations will share blessing and peace." He says, when nations will share blessing and peace, he says in the Hebrew, ul om mil om, to describe the nations. Why is it that he's turning prophecy on its head? Because back in Rebecca's version of her prophecy of conflict, how does she describe the nations in the Hebrew? She describes two nations, one mightier than another. In Hebrew, ul om mil om in the Torah. So Chernikovsky, knowing his Torah, decides to take that same phrase of nations, ul om mil om, and instead of using it in a moment of conflict, he places it into this prophecy of peace. And so he turns it upside down. And in her midrash, Rabbi Vergan is appreciating that, is lifting that up, that he can take Torah and turn it on its head, that he can take a moment of conflict for brothers, for nations in Torah, and say, we're going to look at it completely differently, just by taking that phrase of Hebrew and seeing it through a different light. All right, so now, with all of that review, I'll offer one more read of our midrash. Yael said, this is one nation to another, it's called. So she named it for that, ul om mil om, one nation to another. Yael said, all my days I grieved over this verse, and God said to her, 2 nations are in your belly, and 2 peoples will go their separate ways from your bowels, and one people another will overpower, ul om mil om, and the elder will serve the younger. And I asked, how did Rebekah hear this harsh prophecy when Isaiah heard, no nation will take up a sword against another? And Abraham had already said to Lot, let there not be conflict between me and you, for we are brethren. And if you will say all brothers hate one another, haven't we found that in every generation, after they hated, they came together and reconciled with one another? Of the sons of Abraham it is said, and they buried him, Isaac and Ishmael, his sons. And of the sons of Isaac it is said, and Esau ran towards him and hugged him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And of the sons of Jacob it is said, and now be not sad or angry with yourselves over having sold me, because it was to preserve life that God sent me here before you, until there came a generation that hated no more. And who are these? Moses and Aaron, of whom it is said how good and pleasing it is when siblings dwell together. And I heard most of the people and the leaders saying, we will live by the sword forever. And I grieved and wept even more that they prefer that bad prophecy that Rebekah heard over the good one, until a poem came into my hands. And I shall keep faith in the future, though the day be yet far away, surely it will come when nations, ul om mil om, will share blessing and peace. I rejoiced a great joy that Chernikovsky had come and turned the first prophecy upside down and made it like the second one, a better one. And I, too, choose to believe in it with all my heart and all my might. And I would go about in the city and call out, the two nations they can live on this land in peace, share its blessings, and be a blessing to one another. Shabbat Shalom. We return to our prayer books, turning to page 282 and then 287 for Aleinu. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. The World War II resistance fighter Hannah Senesh wrote, "There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember." This week, our congregation observes yahrzeit for the following people on whose shoulders we stand: Arlene Altus, Joseph M. Asher, William Bacharach, Kenneth Bean, Carol Baer, Leon L. Berkowitz, Jack Blumenfeld, Lillian Brody, Louis Brody, Ralph T. Bucksbaum, Thomas Bono, Leslie Chafin, Myra Falk Eisenberg, Hannah Field, Samuel Fingroot, Anna Elizabeth Fogel, Louis M. Frank, Harold Gantz, Emily Cara Garbos, Elaine Gitlow, Eric Goldenberg, Odette Goldfeder, William Marks Goldstein, William S. Grass, Bernard Greenberg, Marion Habes Kuntz, Sigmund J. Herman, Joseph H. Heinlein, William Huckfeld, J. Herman Jacobs, Patricia Clare, Leonard Klein, Hess Klein, Joseph Koch, May Schneider Coleman Wise, Mamie Room Cohn, Mitchell D. Cohn, Hedda Comans, Ida Koppelman, Joseph N. Kotzen, Janice Kuntz, Delia Leopold, Henry S. Lauchheim, Howard Macon, Louis H. Manko, Bernard Mann, Florence Schwartz Marcus, Mary Master, Deborah Meiselman, Isaac Meseroff, Barbara Michaels, Amelia Kahn Miller, Julius Mintz, Barbara Mitnick, Edward Nackman, Robert Oldershaw, David Pincus, Hyman Robert Pine, William Portner, William Ravner, Alan H. Rubin, Martin Rosen, Irving Rosenblum, Hannah G. Rosenthal, Moses S. Rosenthal, Madeline Wilson Roscom, Joseph Hannah Rothner, Henry M. Salzer, Martha A. Schwartz, Eleanor Siegel, Samuel Seichek, Rita White Seidenbach, Ronald Silverman, Ida B. Snellenberg, Stephen Edward Solms, Stella R. Summer, Felix M. Strauss, Joan Strauss, Levi Strauss, Louis Teller, Caroline Treifeld, Morris Ullman, David Weinstein, Aaron Harry Weinstein, David A. Weiss, Sylvia Weiss, Max Winokur, Antonia Wolmuth, Isaac Wolf, Alice Wolf, Isaiah Wolfson, Major Rudy Weil, Donna Ray Wyman. We add the names of those who have been taken from our midst, but not from our hearts, in these most recent days, for whom we observe Shloshim. Bernard Katzenak, Linda Lentz Partida, Michael Rathmill, Mark Rodden, Judith Lee Weinstock, Diane Apfelbaum Toll. And this week we'll be burying Matthew Edelman. If you are observing Yahrzeit or Shloshim for a loved one whose name was not called, please feel free to call it out now. Together we honor their memories as, turning to page 294, we rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Devarach Rutei v'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayei uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, B'agala uv'izman kariv v'yamru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, Shemei d'kudashah b'rechu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, v'tamiran be'alma v'yamru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring comfort to the bereaved and peace to each of you. And together we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, uyaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen.
I'm so pleased to welcome our congregational president, John Broder, forward.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. I hope everybody's having a great summer, though somebody pointed out to me that it feels like the summer's almost over. I noticed it was dark this morning. People are going back to school, so please enjoy the rest of it. It's only a little over a month till Rosh Hashanah, so I know, it's making you too nervous. But anyway, it's great to see everybody. If you're, I know we have a lot of new members. Welcome to the congregation. And if you're new tonight, a special welcome. Please meet our latest member of our professional engagement team, Neil Weiss, who's in the back waving. Hi, Neil. He's our new director of philanthropy, and he would be happy to meet you and talk to you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, thank you. These words of Shaul Chinakovsky: laugh, laugh at all my dreams. What I dream shall yet come true. Laugh at my belief in humankind, at my belief in you.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav
God bless us and keep us.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה.
May the light of God's Spirit shine upon us and through us.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך shalom.
May God's presence be with us and bring us peace. Keni Hiratzon, may this be God's will. Shabbat Shalom.